today I'm going to be talking about some of the new art pieces that I've made recently. So recently I started making a couple collages. They're not typically your normal collages. They're kind of collages made of custom little art pieces that I draw specifically for the collages, and then I've been piecing them together into kind of a bigger abstract piece. I started to do this for a variety of reasons. The first reason is that I was very inspired by this artist named Santiago. Also, he has got some very, very cool art. If you look at his art style, he kind of does these very cool collages sometimes. Just a big bunch of different mediums mixed together. He takes photography. He uses a little bit of AI generated imagery and stuff, which I know a lot of people are not the biggest fan of in the art scene, but I think that the artistry behind some of these people is absolutely amazing, and I don't really put any shame into somebody using AI as a tool. Really, it's the creation of how that tool is made that is the issue, and not the artists themselves. And the way that he specifically uses it is very, very artistic, very free use. I personally would 100% say, even if he was using other people's art to create these art pieces, that he's 100% qualified as free use. But anyways, I think that his art pieces are absolutely amazing, and I'm a huge fan of them. So I decided to try to kind of incorporate that style with my style, which resulted in kind of these collages that I've been making. I do think that these are some of the coolest art pieces that I've ever made. The time lapse in my last video was actually the first. Then I made a few more after that, and I think that they just kept getting better and better. First one that I made that was featured in the last video, I called that one Holy Moly. Here's a look at that. Then I made a second one that was kind of train themed, and I called it Gitch Line, and this is that one right here. And then I made another one, which I think is the best one, honestly, which I called Soaked in Gold. And here's a look at that one right here. And then lastly, I created one last one, which I call Footless, and it's kind of skateboard themed. And for that one, I tried to also incorporate some of the moving pictures that I was doing before. I tried to incorporate some of that, so I just gave it a little bit of movement. It's nothing really that special, but I think it's also a very cool piece. But yeah, I just really wanted to, and I still have been wanting to, just push the boundaries of my art and evolve as an artist. I really hope that this doesn't push away any of my old audience, because I'm kind of switching styles a lot. I'm really just trying to, experiment and evolve. I don't really know. I think that it's one of the best things that I can do for my art. If I kept on just drawing on paper, I would have never created such a masterpiece as Soaked in Gold. I personally think it's an absolute masterpiece. But art is subjective. Maybe you like it, maybe you don't like it, and that's okay. So I didn't really know how to go about this, and for the most part I do drawings on paper. So I decided to do a whole bunch of little drawings on paper, scan them in, then I took them into Photoshop, and once they're into Photoshop, I cropped out every single little doodle, and I made the backgrounds for every single little doodle transparent. Then I could just drag and drop them into Photoshop and create a collage pretty comfortably at that point. There's a bit of issues that I ran into with this process, which is mostly that you end up with so many layers that Photoshop starts to lag like crazy. And the only solution I found to that is constantly crunching down the layers, merging the layers, but I think it worked out really well. Anyways, that's mostly the whole video. I just wanted to explain that I've been doing this and that I think it's a cool thing, and how I've been inspired by this very specific artist, Santiago. Go look him up. He's an absolute master at what he does. Overall, I'm really happy with the results. Oh, another benefit that I found from it is that overall, because I don't use rough lines, I don't use a rough draft, I don't plan anything, I don't use pencil lines very often at all. Sometimes I will, but very, very rarely that happens. It doesn't happen very often. And so when I'm creating an art piece, very often if I make a mistake, it just ends up in the final result. Or sometimes if I make enough mistakes, I will completely ditch that drawing and just start a new one. Whereas when I'm doing something that is like a collage sort of thing, I can always correct any mistakes. And so out of all of the 4 collages that I worked on, every single one, I think, turned out pretty good. But yeah, I think that overall, pushing yourself out of your comfort zone and just trying new things and trying to evolve and experiment as an artist is probably a really good idea. And yeah, maybe there's some experiments that might work and some that might not work and some that will work for you and not for other people. This one worked and it was overall worth it. And I think it's always worth it. Give a little experiment a try, because what could you really lose? It's sometimes hard for an artist to go against their style. So yeah, if you ever are inspired to try out a new style, go right ahead. You should probably do it. That's the mustard seal of approval you're getting from me, ladies and gentlemen. You're getting it today. You're getting the mustard seal of approval. Every single one of you. Go ahead. But yeah, I might try making more of these in the future, and I might try experimenting with other types of art styles and techniques and stuff like that in the future, and I really do plan to do that a lot, and I hope that you are all going to enjoy that. Anyways, I'm Mustard. This is not the most mustardy video, and is definitely not my best video or anything like that. It's not my funniest. It's just a video of me talking about what I've been doing. So anyways, hope you're having a good day or night or whatever, and also you got the mustard seal of approval. Yay. You can go now. You can do anything. The world is your oyster at this point. Do you guys like oysters?